So let's jump into the world of AI and how it's going to essentially affect our future as music producers, not just as sync licensing music producers like the stuff I teach you guys here on this channel, but all music creators are going to have their traditional processes of creating music disrupted by AI. So this presentation, I'm going to try to help you prepare for the coming changes in tech that are certainly going to affect whatever source of income you have with your music. I guarantee, I don't care what you're doing, whether it's sync licensing, streaming, touring, it doesn't matter what it is. AI is going to disrupt and change everything about our society, especially when it comes to the music business. So this information is not meant to scare, intimidate you. It is going to be maybe challenging for some of you guys. It's going to be a little bit, overwhelming maybe. But my entire purpose of this presentation is to prepare you, to keep you sort of up to date on what's happening in the world, so that when this technology really starts to creep into our spaces, it's not a shock or a surprise for us, and we've been well prepared for it, even if it's just mentally, right? So I want to make sure that you guys know that my intention is not to be a fear monger here with this technology, but it's actually to be a source of empowerment for you guys. That's really what I want to do here, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The reason why I'm putting this presentation really together is I had put out a recent poll asking you guys on my YouTube channel how you feel about AI entering the music creation space. And it looks like some of you, about 30%, said you never thought it would ever replace really what a human can do. About 22 thought you were concerned that it could potentially replace us completely as music creators. It's a valid concern. We'll talk about that. And I was really pleased to see, though, that a majority of you were curious as to how to use it to improve your craft. And of course, some of you were a bit confused by all the latest developments. I think all of us probably fit a little bit into that category. There's so much happening in this space. So I really want to kind of double down on this curiosity sort of feeling that some of you guys have already sort of had an inclination on. And I really want to also address these other, sort of some people feeling it's just not really a threat to us, or it's a massive threat and basically we might be totally screwed. I want to get into all of those scenarios with this presentation, okay? So let's talk about what's going on with AI. Why is it making a bunch of noise right now? And can we make any sense? And can we kind of turn down that volume knob a bit and get some focus and clarity with this subject? Well, basically what's been happening recently is AI applications are being rapidly released. So this includes AI chatbots. You've probably heard of ChatGPT. That's created by the company OpenAI. Google has their Bard, which is basically the same type of thing. Microsoft is coming out with Copilot, which is basically going to be a sort of a virtual assistant for you as you do all of your business work. And these are all exponential technologies that are doing things that I really, until recently, didn't know we could possibly do. So essentially, all the previous technologies we've built on top of them, and now we're creating these brand new sort of models, these like artificially intelligent models that can literally pump out anything you need, right? They can look up anything you need to. They can create new text for you. They can create new articles. They can write poems for you. They can write lyrics. And now they're sort of jumping into the text and pictures and music space. So there's a lot of amazing new possibilities coming on board with this new technology. There's also APIs and plugins being developed basically on top of the AI technology. So remember when iPhone 1 came out? Well, what came right afterwards? The App Store. And there was just this mad dash rush for all of these different companies being formed to create applications to use on the iPhone. Same kind of things happening here. AI is the sort of, these chatbots essentially are the base technology, and all of these different really intelligent and creative and motivated people are starting to figure out, what can I do with this technology, and how can I sort of empower users to use it effectively for whatever they need to use it for. There are now text to pictures and text to video applications of this technology. So DALL-E is one of them. Synthesia, I'm not exactly sure how they pronounce that, but essentially that means that you can literally type in, give me a picture of a dog running on the beach with a sunset behind it. Boom. A couple of seconds later, it gives you a brand new original picture that doesn't exist, that won't be copyright infringing upon anybody else's photo or any other artist. This is also happening now with video. You can type in what you want to see. I want to see a dog running on a beach with a sunset going down in the background. In fact, I want the ocean, instead of being blue, I want it to look like a blood orange color. Boom, it'll do all of that and create a video for you on the fly. This is amazing stuff, and it's developing very, very quickly. So what about text to music? Can you type in, hey, I'd like a song that's EDM and high energy? How about if I whistle or hum something and I go, can you turn that into a whole full song, a full orchestra? Yes. That technology exists today. That's actually what really got my attention, really made me decide to really focus on AI, because while these technologies right now are putting out music that is not licensable, I would not call it a sort of threat to what we do. Just like all the other forms of technology that are evolving and rapidly improving, this will also improve very quickly. And right now, what I'm going to do is show you some examples of the technology that's available right now today, okay? The two that I'm going to show you in this presentation, I'll show you many more as we go forward with this topic on my channel. But we're going to talk about Google's Music LM project and Beatbot. Let me start first with Beatbot. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. So if you'd like to check this out, I'll put a link below, but it's beatbot.fm. Literally, you can type in whatever you want in terms of a type of song or music that you want to hear, and it'll not only create the track, but it'll also put AI lyrics and vocals on top of it. It is crazy that it can do this. I've already played with it a little bit, but we're going to start with the prompt on this one. We'll let it work. It takes a little bit for it to, maybe like a minute or so for it to create it, and then we'll come back to this, so on. So I want to do something like, let's say, high energy hip hop track with motivational lyrics. Make it work for sports TV placements. Let's see what it does. So we'll click generate on that. We'll put that away while it's working. I want to show you Google's Music LM project. So this was actually just released 2 months ago at the end of January. And what I want to do is show you exactly how powerful this, it's already starting to put my track together. Let's pause that for a second. I'm ready to. So it's already done, actually. So that's, again, pretty impressive. But let me just show you this Google one first. So essentially, this is one of those text-to-music applications. So essentially, this is what they put into this model, the main soundtrack of an arcade game. It is fast-paced, upbeat, with a catchy electric guitar riff. The music is repetitive and easy to remember, but with unexpected sounds like cymbal crashes or drum rolls. That's all they put into their AI model here for this experimental project they're putting together. And this is what the AI model turned out in terms of the music creation. Let's take a listen. I know some of you guys are going to be hearing that and going like, that's not that great. That's kind of lo-fi. It feels like a little bit like, 1990s or 1980s video game music. So I'm not really that threatened by that. I agree. Right now, this is not going to be on par with what we can create basically with our DAW setups and how we've been making music. But always, don't make the mistake of thinking that technology will ever be static. This is version 1. This is iPhone 1. What happens when it goes to iPhone 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7? And how quickly will those new iterations come out? And how easy it is going to be for them to essentially take this model and start applying higher quality samples to it? Because if you basically just had this music, but you threw high quality drums and synths and more modern sounding things, more dynamic sounding sounds, it's where we're at. It's basically where we're at. So that's what really got my attention. And that's why we really need to start being serious about this technology and how it can really disrupt our process and what we do in this business. Okay. Let me show you a couple of other examples. This is a really, really powerful one. So essentially what they did on this one, I'll take it down just a little bit so you can see. They actually put in time prompts, okay? So essentially they said between 0 and 15 seconds, make it like an electric song played in a video game. From 15 to 30, make it like a meditation song played next to a river. From 30 to 45, make it sound like fire, whatever that means. And from 45 to 60, make it sound like fireworks. We're gonna take a listen to this, but I want you to imagine that there's a TV client or a commercial client that has specific beats in their 30-second commercial that they need music to basically be hitting and basically creating certain types of emotional highlights. This is essentially a product or a service that they can essentially have access to create this kind of music. Now, you'll hear this and it's not high quality music right now, but listen to how intelligent it sort of took this text and interpreted it into something musical. So this is the electronic song played in a video game. Now we're going into the meditation song. guessing this is the fire part. Here's fireworks coming up. So again, not super impressive in terms of being a licensable, listenable song. So we don't have to debate that. I agree with probably all of you guys that are listening to that. But this early version can do something like this with very little input. So again, you imagine this kind of technology getting better in the future. This is going to be something that we have to really wrap our heads around and figure out, is it something that we need to start using ourselves and adapting to, or if it's something that's going to basically, take away some of the work that we've been doing. How do we make ourselves more relevant if this is going to be something that can have, our clients, our TV and film clients can have access to? Then the last thing I want to show you is somebody literally humming or whistling into a microphone, recording a tiny little melody and creating a full musical piece based on that. So here's the original humming melody that this person put into this Music LM model. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Okay, so quick little melody, nothing too special. I want to start with a string quartet. That to me was the most impressive one. Check out what it did. Here's tribal drums and flute. So how about some vocals? Let's see what it does with the vocals. So again, they don't sound amazing right now, but you can literally in the future hum something and sing something, go like, I wonder if you could turn that into a rock song, and boom, you've got a rock song. And of course, once you get your sort of rough draft, that'll be up to us to figure out how we sort of fine tune those kind of things. So that's very powerful technology that should be getting your attention. And if you're discounting that because it doesn't sound that good right now, you're making a big mistake. Please don't discount this kind of thing and think that, that's not going to get any better. It's going to get better before you realize it. And so we need to start being really serious about this. Let's take a listen to our track that Beatbot made for us. Remember, this is what we put in: high energy hip hop track with motivational lyrics. Make it work for sports TV placements. Let's see how well it did.
To rock it, gonna drop it in the spot, gonna make a statement, gonna hit the top. Hold it down for the culture, put the mic on lock, gonna make it spark, gonna make it pop.
So not amazing. Again, I'm not going to argue with you guys. It's not like my favorite track, and it's not like super engaging or exciting, but all of that was created within, you heard it before, like 20 seconds, maybe less than that. And that's not a human being rapping on that. That is AI. Okay. So if you think you're safe because you put vocals on your tracks, nope, they've already got that figured out, and there's definitely going to be AI vocals you can literally throw onto your tracks. Now, I'm really excited about that because as a non-singer myself, I've always wanted to have something I can just create the melody, create the lyrics, and boom, can you please make it sound really good with vocals, because I know my vocals just can't quite cut it. So that's going to be an amazing technological development I'm really looking forward to, but maybe not all of you guys are. So these are the things that are coming on board. This is what's available right now. But let's get going. I know some of you guys might feel a little depressed about what I'm saying there, and you might be thinking, are we screwed? So how should we be thinking about all this stuff happening right now? Well, first we need to get real and just be honest that, AI is here and it's going to continue to develop and disrupt all industries. So it's not like it's just going to develop the music creation business, but TV and film will be exactly the same, and the PROs will be exactly the same. No, and music libraries, everybody's business model. Everybody needs to start rethinking their own business model and how they can essentially be disrupted. Because guess what? If you can be disrupted, which we all can, if you don't disrupt yourself and start thinking about how you can sort of completely radically update your entire approach and processes, somebody else will disrupt you. And it's not going to be an AI. It'll be somebody that's using AI to essentially super boost their productivity, and they'll just outcompete you. Okay. So we need to make sure that we're all being honest about this, that it is a reality. We need to sort of accept it and realize that it's up to us to kind of take on this responsibility of updating our thinking on this. Okay. Soon enough, the DAW method, which is opening up your Logic session, your Pro Tools, your Ableton, will soon be optional. That's not going to be a way that you have to create music anymore. And compared to the new tools coming online, it's going to feel very slow and very sluggish. The good news is pretty much AI has cured writer's block. Like, we'll never have writer's block again, which is really, really cool. I'm excited about that. But we need to be aware that the way that we've been making music might not be the way that we continue making music in the future. And I guarantee you it won't be, okay? TV, film, and video game clients will eventually all have like a Music LM or a Beatbot app at their disposal. So every network, every cable channel, every ad company, every trailer house, they're all going to have this technology. It's not like we are the only ones that are going to know about this kind of stuff. It's going to get out there. So if they have the option to essentially use this technology to create their own licensable music and not have to pay somebody like us, that's a reality we have to start facing. And that's why I decided to make this a priority on my channel, to really start being curious about this stuff and being open to it before it disrupts us and we're not prepared for it. So how we deal with it and adapt to it, we'll talk about that later in this presentation. But this is just a reality. We definitely need to start being a little sober and thinking about this as sort of, it's coming, and it's going to be something that really massively changes our entire world, okay? Creating production music, and really all music, is soon going to be open to everyone, okay? I know that you and I have been spending years and years perfecting our craft, and we really know our DAW, and we know how to do this and do that. But you know what? In a couple of years, my soon-to-be 3-year-old daughter will also be a music producer. There will be an app where she can create her own music, and she can insert lyrics and vocals and do all this kind of stuff, and it'll sound just as cool and just as interesting as something you and I can do. That is a fact. That is coming. That is something that I know some of us are going to feel bitterness about and feel like, oh my gosh, but it took me so long to get good at this, and why is it so easy for the next generation? Like, that's not fair. We're going to talk about that concern soon in this presentation, okay? And I think that new forms of media, entertainment, and art are going to start emerging as a result of all this. We're not going to stay static and still be watching our TV shows and our movies with all this AI created content. I think what it's going to do is sort of like it's going to open Pandora's box, and we're going to release new forms of entertainment and content and new ways to engage with each other and with entertainment formats in ways we can't really predict right now. I have a couple of ideas of things that can happen, but I really have no idea. But I know that nothing will stay the same, and so we'll honestly always be sort of pushing the boundaries of what we can actually do with this technology, which I always see as huge opportunity. So that's where I want you guys to keep that curiosity and that openness in your mind alive right now, because yes, our entire way of life and our entire way of making money with our music, especially with sync licensing, might be replaced and it might be totally changed, but that doesn't mean that like the good old days are over and there's nothing in front of us. That might mean that the bigger opportunities are literally right in front of us. So we don't want to get so short-sighted that we're just so focused on PRO royalties, sync fees, consideration fees, and we're just constantly stuck in this sort of loop where we're missing out on literally maybe millions or billions or trillions of dollars of value that's literally right around the corner for this stuff. That's at least what I see, okay? The entire world is definitely going to reorganize around AI, so we definitely need to be ready for that, okay? Now let's talk about the bright side, why curiosity and openness will pay off for all of you guys that do that, okay? As we talked about before, we can't control it. You know, nobody's going to put a lid on this thing and stop it. They're talking about basically pausing it right now for a while before they can start thinking about it. And that might happen, but once the pause is over, it's just going to march forward, right? So we've got a choice. We feel disempowered or we feel curious about it. You know, curiosity can obviously go with that optimism. Even if you're not optimistic about it and you're still very skeptical, which I think is a healthy place to be, just open the door for a little bit of curiosity and you'll see some amazing things pay off. So if you're feeling disempowered, if you're feeling like a futility, like the futility of like, well, what's the point of getting better at my craft if an AI can basically just do anything better than I can, that's going to leave you really disempowered and you're not going to feel like you can actually get better, and you definitely won't be able to see any opportunities in front of you. So think about this for a while. This is definitely going to be a choice, a line in the sand you have to decide. Sadly, I think my prediction is most people will not adapt to the massive changes coming. They will resist it. They will sort of maybe pull out. They'll kind of unplug from a lot of this technological advancements, and we might actually see kind of a schism happen in society where some people use this technology and adapt. Others think that it's evil, think that it's going to disrupt us too much, and they just kind of want to stay with a more simple form of life. And that's fine. You know, everybody can make their own choices. But I do believe that the small percentage that do adapt and start adapting this technology and start using it will 10 or 100 times their productivity, okay? So you watching this right now, you don't know what you're capable of until you start using some of these tools, until we all start using some of these tools and figure out how we can actually start to not just be afraid of them and not just be intimidated by them, but actually be empowered by them. The small percentage of people, especially music producers that do that, will skyrocket ahead of everybody else. So I hope you guys watching this become one of those small percentage people that can do that. And like all tech revolutions, AI is going to be shifting the power in the world to new hands. If you haven't been seeing that, that's exactly what it's doing right now. Up until now, the tech world has been really sort of dominated by Silicon Valley and all the companies that are over there. You're seeing right now what's happening is there's individuals creating entire industries on their own from their computer using this technology, okay? One of my predictions will be that you'll have a single 24-year-old either put a company like Google out of business or will massively disrupt one of their core features, one of their core products or service offerings. Single individuals will now with this technology have the power to disrupt entire companies, maybe even entire industries. That's what I think is happening and what will be happening coming soon. And that's what I want you guys to kind of keep your eyes open and see the possibilities of this stuff so you don't get left behind when all this stuff starts happening really quickly. And I don't know exactly what to do or change right now. Okay, this is not a time to start making choices or decide, all right, well, I'm going to ditch my DAW and I'm going to 100% work with this. That might be a wise choice for some of you. It might be not. I am not making any choices for myself. I'll be transparent with you guys. Right now is not a time to be making any big, bold choices about where you should go with all this new technology and what's happening. This is really just a time for curiosity. This is think of it as sandbox time. It's just playing in the sandbox. All these new toys and tools have just been sort of dumped on our laps. And rather than making big, career-changing decisions about that, we just need to go, look at this new one. What does this do? Oh, that's what that can do. Okay, cool. That's a cool one. Let's check out this one. How does this make the music? What do I have to do to get good at making this toy make better music for me? That's really all we got to do right now. That's basically what I'm expecting of myself. Just curiosity, just play, just openness to it, and not making any sort of final decisions right now. It's way too early to be making any big decisions, okay? I want to talk about also what is certain. Is there anything that we can predict in this time of a lot of uncertainty? Yes, there are a few things. One is a service mindset will always outpace a me first one. So I've been talking about a service mindset on this channel for many years, and that will continue into the AI space. The more that you can put your head in the space of how do I be useful for other people? How do I sort of enhance somebody else's creativity? Or how do I sort of create some sort of a value for somebody else? You will be miles ahead of the person that's only thinking about, well, what's in it for me? And how does this serve me? And how is this going to make me better? So again, if you want to be successful in any business, in any endeavor, always thinking about how you can be sort of externally focused on the other people out there. You'll be miles ahead of people that are just looking for it, looking for what it could do for them. And I do know this, only those that are going to seek these new opportunities will find them, okay? So if you have blinders on, if you don't think this is going to be, if you're kind of laughing this stuff off right now and you think it's not a threat, you will not see this coming up on you, and you definitely will not see the massive opportunities that are going to be in front of you. I don't know what those opportunities are going to be. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot see into the future, but I do know one thing. This is what's certain. I will have my eyes open for them, okay? And when they do present themselves, I will be one of the people that can actually see them, and I really hope you become one of those people as well. The only way to stay relevant is you got to acquire new skills and knowledge. Okay, so this has been true since the dawn of time, especially as we've come into this more technological, informational age, right? If you are constantly holding on to previous technologies and you're not getting curious and not sort of updating yourself, getting new skills, getting new knowledge, updating your own operating system in your mind, you will be left behind. You will not be relevant. People will be talking to you about things and you're like, what's a chat? What's a prompt? What's an AI chat prompt? What are you talking about? If you're not getting familiar with some of these terms, and don't worry, we will talk about a lot of those terms on my channel. I'll make sure you guys are all up to date on the sort of lingo and the terminology of this new field. If you're not educating yourself on this stuff, there's just no way you're going to be able to keep up. So just have this attitude of always be learning, right? Always have something that you can basically be getting better at. This is a really important one. Whoops, I sort of went too far back. Let me go ahead and go forward here. We already did all this. All right. We did those. Letting go of fairness and bitterness, okay? This is going to be a must for all of you guys that, as I referred to before, we have this, some of us have this feeling that like, well, that's not fair that, the new producers out there won't have to go through all the struggle that we had to learn how to create music. That's not fair that they can just clearly click a button and this music is what they want. And so that's not, and it's almost like we're going to have this new label, probably calling it organic music versus non-organic, right? And I get that. There's a sense of like, well, that's just not the sort of pure way to create music. And that's way too easy. And now people who have no business making music are making music. This that whole thinking right there, all that thinking right there is bitterness, okay? And it's this idea of kind of like fairness, like, well, that's not fair that they get to do it, and it's easy for them, but it wasn't easy for me, and they can just come into my side of the industry and completely disrupt what I've been really working hard at. I get it, guys. I really do understand that point of view and that mindset. We got to let that go. We really do, because think about it. All of us right now who have a computer and a DAW and all of the sort of sounds and plugins and VSTs that we've been using, we are also doing this a lot easier than producers from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s had to do stuff, right? Okay, so we have all of this digital technology at our fingertips, so we can create tracks much easier, much better. We don't have to pay an orchestra to come play. We don't have to pay for a piano player or for a guitar player. All of this stuff now can be created virtually at our home computer, right? So aren't we the people that have it too easy compared to the last generation? So this is just a pattern that repeats, right? So the next generation, obviously, it's going to look a lot easier for them. The way that I see this is that it's sort of enabling all of us to become creatives, okay? We have been conditioned, I think, for a long time that we are just consumers. We just consume, we just watch TV, we just play video games, we just do. But we have been sort of, and I think a lot of the public school system has not done us any favors in this department. We have sort of had our creativity bashed out of us. Okay, a few of us still have it. I think most of you guys watching this, you still have a little spark of it left. That's why you're still making music. But a vast majority of humanity has been told many times, you're not creative, you're not, you don't have a talent. Basically just consume. Like, that's your job. Just shop and buy and watch stuff. This technology, I think, is going to be a renaissance of human creativity, and the likes of which we've just never seen before. And I don't know what's going to come of it, but it's super, super exciting. So please do try to let go of this idea of, oh, that's not fair, and this isn't, it's too easy for them. Let go of that stuff and try to be a little bit more open to this just new world that's going to be unlocking everybody's creativity. Trust me, we're all going to be way better off by having a lot more people contributing to this creative effort that we do, okay? So as you can maybe tell from this presentation, I'm optimistic. I think this is going to be a great, awesome new chapter in human history. But I'm really curious, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you not really have an opinion on this because it's just too new and you're kind of just for the first time wrapping your head around all this new stuff? It's a lot. This is challenging stuff. So I'm really curious. I really want you, before you leave this video, please go down below, hit a like if you found this presentation helpful or informational, and definitely leave me a comment. Let me know where you are mentally with all this kind of stuff, because I want to start creating new content on this channel that really addresses these really important topics, not just about the technology and what's happening, what are the new updates, but really our thinking about it and our attitudes about it, because that's one thing that I don't want to just skip over and rush through and just start moving into this new stuff. I really want to make sure that, I'm addressing all the concerns, the frustrations, the fears, or the dismissals that you guys are having about this technology, so that we're not, sort of creating our own kind of schism here in the community. I really want all of us to go on this journey together, be curious together, and I really want you guys to be there with me. I really feel that at this time when we're kind of in this uncertain fork in the road, the best thing we can do is stick together and really help each other out, give each other feedback, give each other sort of notes and research that we figured out on this space. So I really want you guys all to be there with me as we go through this really cool and exciting adventure together.